welcome to today's Money Chat Now interview. In this portion of the show, I take the opportunity to interview interesting people and introduce you to their products, their services, or just their good intentions. Hey, if you'd like to be a guest on my show, you can go to thelarrysteinhausshow.com/guest. That's thelarrysteinhausshow.com/guest. And let me know why you want to be interviewed, and I bet we can make that happen. Hey, let me tell you a little bit about today's guest. My guest is an educator, an entrepreneur, a multiple best-selling author, a podcaster, a passive income enthusiast, a keynote speaker, an animal lover, and considers himself a constant student. My guest feels that students are often overloaded with a wide range of subjects, tests, quizzes, papers, and other projects with different types of assignments, with different teachers and different teaching styles, books to read, websites to log on to, grading rubrics to be aware of, classrooms and class schedules, not to mention all of the out-of-school commitments. So he has some suggestions for parents and students. So let me introduce you to my guest, Stephen Greene, who considers himself the success doctor. Hey, Stephen, what's happening, man? Welcome to the show.
Larry, thank you. Sorry for all that extended intro. Everything's good, man. Life is good. It's summer. It's hot. Got a lot going on, a lot to share, and as you said, it's a constant learning process. That's my mantra.
So why don't you tell me a little bit about how you got started? Because there's a lot of good stuff in there.
My background is in education. I went to college to be a teacher. Ended up going to graduate school in education. Ended up getting a doctorate in education, and I worked in the academic world for years. At some point, I transitioned and started a private consulting business that was part tutoring, part support for schools, school districts, and private schools. And at one point, I started coaching entrepreneurs. And part of that, which was pretty interesting, is I blended it, and I coach a lot of people on creating informational products. So if somebody wanted to create a video course or write a book or have a podcast or create a webinar, I help them with the back work for that, developing content, things like this.
That's interesting.
And it's one of these journeys.
We're developing content.
Yeah. Well, listen, information is king. That's, in my view, really expanded in the last couple of years, 4 or 5 years. The way the technology is so accessible now, the quality, the ability to deliver really good content in high production values is at almost no cost, has really made it simple. So anybody who's got something to say, regardless of your topic, there's no gating factor anymore, at least in terms of cost and accessibility. But to kind of wrap it around, to be more pertinent to what we're talking about 6 years ago, somebody came to me and wanted to write a book about passive income. And I said, great, let's do it. And honestly, they weren't really very organized. They had a lot of ideas. They had no idea to put them all together.
Right.
So we ended up co-authoring the book because I was always a good writer, and they had some ideas. But it really opened my eyes to the whole idea. Making money without really working. Of course, you got to have investment somewhere to do it. And that kind of put me on this whole mission. I think that's where our two worlds have collided in a positive way. And that's really become a passion of mine. So between working with the academic side still, the entrepreneur side, and the passive income stuff, it's a lot of different interesting things going on.
So let me ask you a question. Do you consider yourself a technician? Are you setting up people's websites and their webinars?
No.
Or are you suggesting how they do it and helping them with just the content?
It's content and organizing content. In my academic experience, my administrative experience, I was a curriculum development person and a evaluator. So I professionally trained to say, okay, we need to teach A, B, and C. What's the best way to put it together, pace it, have breaks where people can make sure they understand it, such and such. So when people were approaching me, had these ideas, but they were nebulous. Well, I want to write a book about this, or I want to create a webinar about this. Well, they would just start talking, and they didn't have any framework. There was no crescendo. There were none of the things that somebody who was an academic would do. So all the academics know how to do that, but they don't really have. There's typically experts in one narrow niche, like math or history or what have you. So that's really where the blend is. I consider myself a consultant in the sense that I'll say, look, Larry, what do you want to write a book about, or what do you want to create a product with, and you'll say blah, 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 and I'll say, all right, let me show you what to do. Let's work on it together. And then it's your product. I'm basically helping you put it together. This may not be the case for you as an individual, but collectively.
No, it's okay. So are you creating PowerPoints for people and things like that, or they're just giving the content, you're putting in order, and you say, okay, go create your own PowerPoint?
The most popular, we start with scripts. We start with scripts, and the scripts can be complicated or simple depending on the project. And then it's up to the person. There's about 9 different verticals you can go into. You can just write a traditional book, an ebook, an audio book, a webinar, a video class, a podcast, and you can make one and then repurpose it into all of them. Right. So, but typically I tell people to start with one, but the script is the foundation. So if somebody, I just work with somebody who's an animal groomer. They're trying to create a course so people can buy it and groom their own animals.
Okay.
So we created a script. Now they started with a video class. Now we're turning it into an ebook and eventually probably into an audio book.
So do you teach them how to make the videos correctly, or you just say, hey, grab your iPhone and start making videos? Do you have a special videographer that you use?
I have professional people I refer to, if they're local at least. I don't have like a connection all around the country, and I work with people internationally. But if somebody gets the right lighting and maybe invests in a little bit of an external mic, a phone actually works pretty well at this point. Right. They didn't used to, but now they do. Some of the newer phones have really excellent video capability, as long as you have a directional mic somewhere, like a little cavity mic or what have you. I don't really, I kind of draw the line at telling them what to do and how to produce it. I'm not going to sit there necessarily and make videos with them, although I'll critique them. But sometimes if I really feel a project warrants it, or I know the person really doesn't have the capability of doing it on their own well, or they don't have a budget to hire a professional, I'll get involved in it. Because in the end, the ability to produce high quality end products is so easy that you could have fantastic content, but if your sound is muffled or your lighting is terrible, or it cuts in and out, or you post it into a website that nobody can find, or you can't figure out how to get people a subscription to it. So there's technical things that you just need essentially to be an online marketer or an online educator. That's essentially what it's coming down to. That's not really where I want to spend my time, but I end up doing it more than I want to because I like to see these projects come to fruition.
Sure.
And that's part of it.
So what do you? So I have a curious question for you, because I do a show every day. You're on it right now, and I transmit to Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter. Am I missing anything?
I'm an old guy, man, so I don't really get TikTok, but everybody's telling me TikTok is super hot.
Yeah, I've heard that too. I don't know how to even use the thing. I mean, I watch video. By the way, I get sucked in. If you have TikTok, you just start watching one video, and they go to the next one.
I know.
And half an hour later, you're like, whoa, what just happened to my life?
I think it's a manifestation that I don't want to generalize, but I think I'm going to have to generalize that everything is soundbite. We live in a soundbite world, right? Sure. Nobody has the patience under the age of some age to read a book for 3 weeks. They want a 20-second condensed, absolutely abstracted version of what it is. And because it's morphed and it's merged so completely with their social lives and their personal lives, people find this a completely, perfectly fine way to get all their information. So you've got people who are blending, hey, this is what I did Saturday night, and they got a quick video of them dancing or having fun with their friends. And in the same way, they're getting sports information and news information and to a degree, academic information. And I'm not saying it's bad or good. I don't want to judge it that way, but it has changed the way I've had to counsel people in creating their products, right? Why would you make a 2-hour-long webinar when we know that most people in the world's attention span is 6 minutes?
Yeah, right.
Right. I mean, I'm not exaggerating. So, what you do instead is you give a little.
Who are you again?
Well, yeah, right. But so the pro tip here is the pro tip I'm going to give you is if you're going to make a 2-hour webinar, chop it up into 20, whatever, 3-minute segments and make each one have its own theme. Yeah, I mean, I've always wrestled because I didn't grow up in the world of the cell phone. I don't know what Generation X or I've lost track of Y and all these,
Sure.
but cell phones didn't really come out till I was in college or graduate school even. So I didn't grow up with that personally. So
You're not talking about smartphones either. You're talking about cell phones.
well, I remember phones that came in a bag. I remember them.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I had that too.
Right, it's like a bag. It had like an antenna, and you
Right.
paid for you got like 50 minutes for free, and then it was like $8 a minute.
It was no
after
15
that.
minutes for free. It was $1 a minute.
Yeah, right.
Actually, $1.30 a minute to make a call, at 99 cents a minute to receive a call.
And when people called you, you paid for it too. So I've always wrestled with this, and even I help people on multiple platforms in so-called old school ways to deliver information. And I've always wrestled with this concept. Are you better off being really, really good at one, or maybe okay, or fine with all of them?
Right.
So, and listen, not everybody is comfortable on video. I get it. Not everybody can elocute very, very well. Some people are camera shy. So video isn't for everybody.
I actually believe video is for everybody, and they should get over it. Because
I'm not going to disagree with you.
Where everything is now.
It's all going that direction. I completely agree with
every
that.
Single day, and sometimes it just gets to the point where I don't even just leave me alone. My cameraman chases me around every once in a while. I'm like, leave me alone. I've done too many videos. Leave me alone. But I actually do believe it's the place to be, how to be, and it does work.
I will say this, because what's the point of creating an information product if you're not going to present it in the place where your market can find it, right?
Exactly.
So if I know my audience is consuming in video, I better produce my product in video. If I know my target audience is consuming by reading, I might blog, or I might write a book, or if I know they're going to do it while they're driving in a car. Like when I'm heavily into my academic space, all my podcast listeners are almost all parents, generally women who have kids, and they're driving their kids all over the place to karate and art school and dance and shopping. So my podcasts are 8-10 minutes long, because that's about how long they are in between stops when they're doing their errands.
All right, well, we're going to do this. We're going to actually take a commercial now. You know why? Because if we take a commercial now, then, that's about 13 minutes. We're into it right now. And maybe when they come back, they'll still stay tuned in. So let's take a commercial.
I hope so.
Let's take a commercial. When we get back, Steven's going to tell us a little bit about Maximum Education, his book, and also a little bit about passive income. So we'll be back in 1 minute. Hi, I'm Larry Steinhaus, and one of the most misunderstood things in America is money. That's why I've written this book. It's called Money Hacks, because everything you think you know about money is wrong. And I'm telling you, everything you think you know about money is wrong. When you read this book, you will learn things about money that you did not know. You will even learn if money can buy you happiness. I have a full chapter dedicated to that. You're going to definitely want to read that. I talk about how to use other people's money to buy real estate. I talk about how to save more money, and I even talk about how to rebuild your credit score in this book. There are 22 amazing chapters in this book. This book is now available everywhere. It's available on Amazon. It's available on barnesandnoble.com. And you can order this book right now, and you'll have it in 2 days, and you'll start learning things about money that you never knew before. So order the book right now. Go to Amazon, go to barnesandnoble.com, and order the book, Money Hacks by Larry Steinhaus. All right, welcome back to Money Chat Now, the interview portion. Hey, we are currently interviewing Stephen Greene, author of Maximum Education. Hey, if you'd like to be a guest on this show, you can go to thelarrysteinhausshow.com/guest. That's thelarrysteinhausshow.com/guest. Let me know why you want to be interviewed, and I'll see what I can do to help you with that. All right, let's get back to Stephen Greene. Hey, Stephen. All right, I'm so glad you're here. Hopefully people stayed through the commercial, because you said that most people only stay on for about 12 or 13 minutes, and that's where we were at the commercial.
Some people.
But I want to ask you a question. Talk to me a little bit about passive income, because you had said that before, and you said you actually you were helping somebody create content on it, and the next thing you know, you realized that was a great idea.
Yeah. Look, we got to make a living, right? I mean, everybody's got to make a living.
Absolutely.
And
that's why I'm charging you $20,000 for this interview.
I get it. That's the value. That's a good deal. I was in a profession where I was basically trading time for money. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, I was I was working hourly, or I was a consultative basis. When I got done with a job, or if I didn't have any work that hour or that day, I wasn't earning income. And if I went on vacation, whatever, I didn't have a salary. After I helped the people and eventually a few other people create content around passive income, I said, wait a minute, this makes complete sense to me.
Sure.
And it isn't a new idea. I mean, people have had passive income
Right.
forever, but a lot of it is expensive to get into. Real estate, having a big stock portfolio. It happens. People do it, don't even know they do it. So I went on this big sort of journey to try to find what I considered affordable verticals to create passive income. They're all going to involve some risk. Risk is a part of investment life, but without kind of putting the farm out there, at risk, or my kids' college 529 funds or what have you. And because I was in the education side, I ended up being hired by a company that was selling a trading platform. Okay, so these were people that wanted to trade. It was called Forex, which you may be familiar with.
Yeah.
And they had a platform to do it, and they needed people that were essentially coaches and people that would counsel people. And that was one of my first introductions to being able to kind of set it and forget it and say, hey, look, I just made some money. I didn't do anything to do it, which was very cool. So over the last now 6 years, I've found about 6 or 7 different verticals where this is working very well.
That's great.
Some are more lucrative than others in terms of percentage in a week or a month or a year. But the key is, like anything, finding what works for you, finding where your risk tolerances are, and then being self-disciplined, right? So, and it would be this, I could say the same thing about any traditional investment, stocks or what have you. But I think the beauty of it is that once you find a good path and once you find things that work, and this is your wheelhouse as well, it's a matter of then just throttling and getting bigger and bigger. So you prove the model to yourself on a small scale, and then you just accelerate and ramp it up and reinvest and compound and things like that. And compound interest is the driver. You earn, right, you reinvest. I mean, am I telling you anything you don't know, Larry, right? Yeah. So a lot of people don't really understand the power of it because they're impatient. And I'll tell you a quick story. I graduated from a college called Franklin and Marshall in Lancaster. Franklin Marshall, one of the founders of Benjamin Franklin. Benjamin Franklin died in 1793 or so. He gave the college $10,000, which at the time was a lot of money. He was one of the wealthiest people in the United States when he died. One of the caveats was they could not spend the money, the school. They had to invest it for 100 years.
Wow.
And after 100 years, they could only use the money to improve the school or provide for education of the students. Anyway, 100 years later, it's worth like $15 million.
That's great. Wow.
Today, it's worth like $400 million.
Yeah, that's the double the penny theory.
Yeah, every X years, it's double, right? Yeah. They now use that to fund scholarships. They've built buildings with it. So one $10,000 investment, granted over a long time horizon, has helped thousands of people because it was invested wisely. There's more to the story, but I think everybody got the point. Sure. We don't have 100 years to deal with it. We have maybe 10 or 20, depending on when you get involved in it.
I have 2 weeks.
So, well, here you go. I think I can show you. Yeah, no, but I've kind of made a business within my business of teaching people about this, educating people about it, and helping them to find something that they're comfortable with, but yet will still provide at least enough of a return to make it worthwhile.
I got something for you. So it's funny because you said something before. You said that real estate is expensive. So we teach at Investor Schooling, we teach people how to buy real estate with absolutely no money. So
well, that's even better.
Yeah, so
I'm going to come to say.
Yeah, my returns on all my real estate are always infinite because I'm buying. Sometimes I'm even going to closings. I'm buying a house. Let's say, for example, $100,000 house. I'm leaving closing with $20,000 in my pocket, and I put no money out of my own pocket, and I'm making $200-300 a month on that. So I do that quite often. Actually, it's my favorite way to buy real estate. I do it all the time. I'm closing this week on a house that I go to closing and I walk away with $35,000 from the closing, and I'm buying the house, not selling it.
Hmm.
So that's kind of neat too.
I like this. Yeah, we got to get
Come to
together
our
on that.
school.
I do. I had to come to your school. Yeah, maybe we can partner on these kind of things.
Partner?
The
Oh no. Well, no, that's okay. We'll have to talk about that. But anyway, I didn't want to interrupt your interview.
no, that's the idea.
So
Go on.
what is the best way that you've come up with of your best way? You said you have 6 or 7. Which is your favorite passive income at the moment?
Two I like are anything having to do with precious metals,
Okay. So you
gold,
have
silver.
so you're in a like maybe it's an MLM that does precious metals. Is that what you're doing?
It's just buying service. You buy at a discount, and
Okay,
you
sure.
just let it
Yeah.
kind of. That's a little bit price tied,
hmm
but precious metals generally don't go down
So
over
how are you
over
getting
any.
passive income off of precious metals?
It's just the compounding of it. You
So
take profit, you buy more. You take
okay,
profit, buy more.
so that's not passive income. That's buying the metals, selling them, and then buying them again.
Basically,
Okay, okay.
it's index. It's they
See,
call it
to me,
indexing.
passive income is something completely different. To me, passive income is I do something once, like buy a property once, and I
Mhm.
continue to collect money on that property for as long as I own the property. So that's what passive income is to me. So what is it to you? You're talking about.
Oh no, it's the same. It's the same idea. With the precious metals, there's what if you want to refer people to them,
Oh,
which
okay,
isn't really like a network marketing idea,
okay.
then
So
you get a percentage
it's
of
an
what they buy.
MLM, right? And by the way, I'm a fan of MLMs. So it's an
Oh no,
MLM,
well, it's.
and
Mhm.
say okay, now I get it. So every time you
I mean,
sign with somebody else.
technically, it's an affiliate
Yeah,
relationship
whatever.
because it's not.
Everybody calls them.
But
It's funny. Like the term multi-level marketing has become a bad word. It's funny
yeah,
when I help people with multi-level marketing because I coach people on sales all the time and different and building
mhm.
businesses. And when I help, I like stop saying it's a bad word. It's a good word, and explain to people why. Why don't you explain to me why it's good? So I have no problem calling it MLM.
So I'm a big fan of precious metals, and the other thing is a little more trendy is just anything I would do with cryptocurrency.
Sure.
And I'm still involved in forex. They're both the same thing. They're both affiliate
Okay.
level
Great.
marketing things. The crypto is the hot one because it's trendy and people
Sure.
are kind of learning about it. It's
Yeah,
also so volatile; it goes up and down quickly, and the money flow is a lot faster.
Excellent.
But of course, everything's risk reward, right? So yeah, the greater your reward, typically the higher your risk. The Yeah, I think the opportunity in crypto is really still emerging. Not that it isn't in any other thing, but I think right now the industry, so to speak, of cryptocurrency is stabilizing to the point where
I could always tell people who listen to my show when I'm interviewing if they're talking about cryptocurrency. You
they
never
don't
know.
like crypto.
So
Why?
crypto was a really brilliant idea.
Hmm.
Bitcoin was absolutely brilliant, and all these slimy little programmers who said, who had basically the fear
I
of
can do
missing out,
better.
came up with these 19,000 different cryptocurrencies. And how can you replace 160 fiat, or I'm sorry, 180 fiat currencies with 19,000 cryptocurrencies? It doesn't make any sense. The whole concept was to replace all the fiat currencies with one currency. Bitcoin may end up that currency, and if you're trading that, it's probably the most likely, or Ethereum, one of the most likely to do it. But anything else doesn't even make any sense. But that's okay. I don't want to take your thunder away.
No. I'm not. I don't disagree with you because there's a lot, like anything else, there's a lot of junk out there.
Yeah, sure.
And this is why I think it's important to get the right advice and get the right counsel and make a decision based on solid information. But yeah, no, we could get deep into the whole Bitcoin philosophy.
Oh, yes.
But
We can have a great debate on it one day if you'd like.
no, I think we're both fans of it. I just think I think the way to use it, the way to make money in Bitcoin is not to buy it at 10,000 and sell it at 15,000, in my opinion. There's
Actually,
a lot of other ways.
That's the best way to make money on it right now, unless you're.
Well, I mean, in this short run, right? Right, there's a lot of other ways that you can leverage it in terms of trading and investing and mining and all sorts of other things that we don't need to dig too deep into today.
Yeah, I have friends seriously mining it, but I do. We have a few more minutes, so I wanted to go over to your book, Maximum Education, correct?
That is correct.
So tell me about that, because that actually had a lot of interest in that. I looked at it. I thought it was an interesting book. Tell me about that book, what it's for, who it's for, and why people should read it.
The book is for students or parents of students who want to give their children what I consider three very, very important skills that are not typically taught in schools. One is how to manage time, one is how to manage information, and one is how to create a daily success plan. And by the way, they're good advice for anybody, especially
Yeah, it sounds
entrepreneurs.
like it. I was just going to mention that.
That
Sure.
was one of the reasons I got into
Yeah.
the entrepreneurial training space, was because some people got a hold of my book and said, "Can you do the same thing for me?" But these are things that are very, very important for anybody, particularly students in school, which in my academic side of my business is my client base. I'm not pointing fingers. I'm not saying this is a school's fault or anything. It's just not part of their curriculum.
Mm-hmm.
So I looked at the book, which is only 80 pages. This is not War and Peace. I looked at it as a way to bridge a gap and provide just some very solid, very, very usable. You could read this book in an hour, put the stuff to use immediately. Information strategies, things like this that have a very, very positive impact. I use this information constantly when I'm working with kids and working with families, and it's remarkable how fast you can see somebody turn around just by employing simple ideas that make them more efficient at what they do.
Awesome. So we have just a few more minutes. Maybe actually we have just about a minute. What is the biggest tip out of your book that you would give anyone, a student or an adult, to use?
The secret to success is to be consistent, to be committed to what you want to accomplish, and to not stop when things get a little bit tough.
You know, I love it because those are perfect words, and it's exactly how I've been successful with the things I've done, and how I've been unsuccessful with the things I've done because I've quit too early. So that was really good advice, and that's fantastic. I'm glad to end it there. Let me do this. We're going to actually end it here. I thank you so much. That was pretty awesome. I want to thank all you guys for watching the show. My name is. Oh, you know what? Real quick, get him back here. Real quick. How can people get hold of you?
You want my email? You want my phone? What do you want?
Just your website and whatever contact information you want to give.
It's makethegrade.net. www.makethegrade, MAKETHEGRADE.net. That's one of my sites.
Got it. Makethegrade.net.
Yep. If they want to
email or a phone number they can reach you.
Yeah, really the way to get a hold of me, 215-808-7674. That's my phone, 808-7674. Awesome. I have a whole backstory there. And I'd say tell people, text me, tell me what you want to deal with, and I'll get back to you and set up an appointment.
All right, excellent. Let me say goodbye to everybody again. Hey, I want to thank once again, I want to thank you all for watching the show. My name is Larry Steinhaus. I am the host of Money Chat Now. Money Chat Now is live every morning at 7:30 a.m., and you can find us on Facebook. You can find us on LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, and any other social media site you'd like. If you'd like to be a guest on our show, you can go to thelarrysteinhausshow.com/guest. That's thelarrysteinhausshow.com/guest. Let us know why you want to be interviewed, and we'll see what we can do for you. All right. I want to thank you, everybody, for watching, and I also especially want to thank Stephen Greene, the Success Doctor. Hey, we hope you'll tune in again and make it a profitable day.